Hey, welcome guys. It is me, Azazel. We're back. I know. It's been a little bit. We were playing Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight not too long ago, and as I wait to get some of those DLCs out and stuff, I thought we'd go back to some more Batman Arkham stuff. Today we're reacting to a Gotham Paladin video from about 2 years ago about 10 disturbing details in the Arkham games. Now, as of recording this obviously, like I said, it was about 2 years ago by now. So, about the time of this recording, Batman Arkham Shadows was not out yet, and now it has. So, if there's anything slightly out of not talking about that game yet, that's probably why. But, like I said, this is a Gotham Paladin video, so make sure to go and support the original video. I'll have it linked down in the description. You can watch it yourself. I'm sure he has way more different versions besides just this one. So, yeah, go check that out. Alright, let's head into this. So, this will be the 10 disturbing details in the Arkham games. This is the first, part 1 of his series, because I'm assuming there's a lot of details in these games that can be more than just one video, but let's check it out.
The Batman Arkham series is known for many things: its boss fights, gameplay, storyline. However, something that goes a little unnoticed is the sheer amount of detail in the game. A lot of it is actually pretty disturbing or dark at the very least. There's a lot of disturbing details in the game that I wanted to talk about and go into more detail with. Here are 10 disturbing details from the Arkham games. Before we get started, if you wanted to subscribe, comment, leave a like, shut up and do it. Anyway, let's move on.
Speaking of which, you can go like and subscribe his video, and you can also like and subscribe on my video. But go and support the original video first before you do that for my video. I'm not trying to make profit off of this. I'm just trying to react to some stuff that I love playing games with. I love these Arkham games, and like I said, you guys should go and support the original video. It's a great video. I suggest you go and watch it. Like I said, it'll be in the description. You can go and check it out. I'll have his channel also linked in the description, so you can go and check that out too. All of his video and credit stuff will be in there. You can go check it out. But yeah, let's go to the first one. So the first one says the terrifying story of the Seagate amusement park. I have no idea what that place is. I cannot remember.
The Seagate amusement park at a glance looks like a typical creepy amusement park set in Gotham. However, there's a lot more to it that meets the eye, especially on how the park was created. The audio tape set around the park reveals that a man named Edward Burke wanted to create the amusement park for his sick daughter, Katie. Joker and Harley then disguised themselves and went to Edward to quote-unquote help him create the park. They also referred his daughter to Penelope Young, who was treating his sick daughter. If you don't remember, Penelope Young was the character from Arkham Asylum that created the Titan formula, so she may have been using that on his daughter here. Anyways, once the park was completed, Joker stopped the treatments for his daughter, which resulted in her dying. Edward now had nothing to live for, and Joker, still disguised, gives him pills to end his life quickly. The final audio tape reveals he takes the pills, but it's not as quick as he imagined. Take a listen.
Katie died before she could see the park. Jack blamed me and said I should never have taken her to Gotham General in the first place. But how was I to know? He told Dr. Young to triple the dosage of her alternative meds, but that only seemed to make things worse. She died last week, and the pain is unbearable.
Yeah.
Dr. Quinzel says it won't get better. She says the pain will just get worse, and that there's no point in going on. She's right. She always is. I signed the park over to Jack, and well, my only hope is that he does something inspiring with it. As for me, I'll be with Katie soon.
Oh, that's disturbing.
These pills Jack gave me will make sure of that. They're supposed to be painless.
You can see a skeleton on the bed as well.
Oh.
It's unknown if Penelope Young willingly worked with Joker and Harley or was forced to. I imagine it's the latter because this might be too far for her, but it's possible that she wanted to desperately test the Titan even if it meant the death of a little girl. I'll let you take that as you will. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic.
Okay, that first one is insane. I mean, like, when you think about it, like, that guy was trying to help his daughter and then just gave up and then just died as well. That's wow. That first one's kind of messed up. Wow, that one's crazy. I don't even have much to say about it. Like, I'm just now processing that whole how that whole like message went down. Like, I also noticed that he was playing his Batgirl, so I'm assuming if I remember playing one of the side missions or DLC missions in Arkham Knight when a few years ago. I don't think I did on YouTube, but um where I think it's like a prequel to Arkham Asylum, or not Asylum, Arkham Knight or something, where you plays Batgirl and Robin at Joker's amusement. I'm assuming that little segment there was during the DLC, I think. But I mean, even still, like, that's one heck of a disturbing detail. Yeah, this next one. The monster inside.
Keeping on with the Seagate amusement park, there's another disturbing detail about it. Looking around the park, you will see advertisements of a man with a starfish on his head. Most comic book heads will know this as Starro the Conqueror's starfish he summons that latches on to people for him to control. Now, knowing this, if you go into the vent here and look inside, you will find Starro inside some kind of tank, alive and well. The implications and questions here are endless. Did Joker and Harley bring Starro here themselves and manage to make him control this person with the starfish? Did Edward Burke know about this? Is Starro controlling the person, or is Starro being trapped against his will? We don't know any of this, but what we do know is that this man here is trapped against his will, performing for a park essentially owned by the Joker, which means they could very well be dead at this point. It's eerie to think about, but you answer those questions in any way you see fit.
Yeah, now that I think about that one's probably like one of those Easter egg things, because I saw him open up a vent to go do it, or to discover that spot. But even thinking about, even if that wasn't or was an Easter egg, like, that's still eerie, an eerie detail to think about. That like something like that is happening behind all the other stuff going on with that amusement mill. That's crazy. All right, Dead Man's Point.
Anyone who's played Arkham Asylum likely knows about Dead Man's Point, considering it's an area you have to traverse through in the game. The reason it's called Dead Man's Point, however, is because inmates go there to commit suicide, jumping off the cliff. Very dark, and it brings up some questions. How easy is it for an inmate to get there on the island? Considering it has its own name, it has to have happened one too many times. Also, Batman's Batcave is built right next to the area. Could he have possibly built it there just to be near that dangerous part of the island? Batman did mention he saved someone once that attempted to jump off from there. It's all pretty dark considering how crappy of a facility Arkham has to be if people are going there to end their lives when the place should try to rehabilitate these people.
Yeah. I mean, not and like you said too, like, why isn't Arkham Asylum trying to help rehabilitate these people and to make them not suicidal? I mean, and also just thinking about it, like, Batman helped save somebody from that spot before. So that kind of makes me think, do you think Batman on purpose built his secret Batcave there in Arkham Asylum then? Because now when I remember playing Arkham Asylum, I remember you go over there to try to, you go over there around that time in the game to open up the Batcave to get a gadget, I believe. So do you think Batman made that spot over there on purpose? Or do you think it was just a coincidence that not a lot of people go over there besides inmates? But then do you think he made that over there to try to help stop more inmates from doing so? Like, I don't know, but I mean, that's still kind of a detail that kind of very, throws in some more questions about Batman and the entire Arkham Asylum choices that they make. Mad Hatter's irredeemable act.
Most of Batman's villains are very violent. However, they all seem to focus more on killing their victims and generally keeping it in that kind of area. Mad Hatter, however, is one of the exceptions. Mad Hatter in the comics and in most versions of him is more than just a murderer. There's always been heavy implication that he is a rapist, sexually assaulting his victims. The Arkham series is no exception to this. In his side mission in Arkham Origins, he kidnaps a woman who he thinks is Alice. Once you defeat Jervis and save her, she has this to say.
Oh, she's terrified. I hear her cry.
Don't worry, you're safe now. The police are on their way. Everything's going to be all right.
No, it's not.
There's a lot of theories as to what Jervis may have done to her. I saw one where people said he gouged her eyes out and replaced them, considering they don't ever move or blink, but the heavy implication here is that she was sexually assaulted, just going off her response saying it won't be okay, as Hatter has done something to her that can't be reversed. Disgusting to think about, and makes you think if some of Batman's villains can really be redeemed after doing things like this.
When he brings up that part about, like, being redeemed, I don't think any of Batman's villains could be redeemed, because when you think about just in the Arkhamverse wise, they've all done some very messed up shit. Especially the Joker, but now that I remember, Batman really does not like a lot of his villains because of what they've done. Like, he hates Joker, he really hates Mad Hatter. From when I've played the games, I've noticed those, but like Mad Hatter, for example, though, like when he brought up those theories about that one girl, about either the eyes or, you know, taken advantage of, I feel like that's, when you think about the first one about the eyes, that's very interesting to think about. But because like she had like messed up makeup around her eyes, so that could be it. But maybe she just was traumatized by what happened, because if she was taken advantage of instead, then that makes a bit more sense of why she answered like that. But then again, whether it was the first one or the second one, I mean, still they're very traumatizing to her, for example. I mean, that's probably whatever happened to her. I mean, I'm sure Mad Hatter really, you know, imprinted that in her mind. Now that even after this entire thing happens in the game, I'm sure she's very gonna be traumatized by that now, probably, because the Mad Hatter kind of does, you know, he does mind trick stuff. Because, you know, if you played those, you know, Mad Hatter missions and all the Arkham games, you kind of tell that, you know, you kind of go mentally a little bit, you know, with the Alice in Wonderland kind of things that he kind of dreams about. It's crazy. It's really weird and disturbing at the same time of what he does. But yeah. All right, next one's Quincy Sharp.
Quincy Sharp, the former corrupt Gotham mayor that worked with Hugo Strange to push his evil agenda. Right? Sharp has schizophrenia, which Strange took advantage of, giving him serums that made Sharp act like a puppet to Strange, making him think Strange was his master. Once he was exposed in Arkham City, his fate was relatively unknown, until Arkham Knight, that is, where one of the Riddler stories gives us a conclusion to him. It reveals that in prison, he started having hallucinations about Hugo Strange. It revealed that he was willing to do anything for Hugo. The hallucination told him to grab his bed sheets and tie it to the light fixture on the ceiling, implying that he hangs himself. And once again encapsulates how crappy of a facility Arkham is to not treat these kind of things for their patients, or wherever Quincy was being held. Quincy Sharp's legacy was not only tarnished, but his ending is seemingly forgotten, as this is something many people can miss.
Yeah, dude, that one's crazy. That one's really crazy. That it kind of shows how much the Arkham Asylum people don't really take care of the inmates. Because, like, that one's insane. Because I didn't even know what happened to him after Arkham City. So now, watching that, because I mean, I played the game, but I don't remember doing a lot of the Riddler trophy ones. So that one really is interesting to me. That's the first time I even heard of what happened to him. That one's crazy, though. Oh my goodness. Did it get worse, does it?
There were quite a few villains we never got to see in the Arkham series, but we did learn about some of them and their fates. One of them was the Ratcatcher, a villain in the Batman Rogues Gallery that has the ability to control rats. While never present in the games, we saw his equipment in each game at various locations, and in Arkham City, we did learn that he was in there. Scanning one of the Riddler stories of his advertisement, it reveals what happened to him in Arkham City. Essentially, he was trying to lay low and keep to himself, trying not to get in any type of altercation. This proved to be futile, however, since the end of the story reveals that the Penguin found out where he was and dragged him into the museum to be fed by Tiny the shark. We then never hear about him in Arkham Knight, so it can be assumed that he was killed by the shark. I don't really see a way he could have survived that. However, in the Arkham Genesis comic books that takes place between City and Night, it reveals that Ratcatcher did survive. However, the Arkham Knight finds him and kills him anyway, electrocuting him to death. It's a big discussion on whether the comics are canon or not, but regardless, he still dies no matter what, both in cruel ways, either being fed to a shark or electrocuted to death by Jason. Sad way to go for Otis Flanagan.
Yeah. I mean, now after that one reading, that one's interesting because you don't really know much about Ratcatcher before Arkham Shadows VR game. But just before we played that game, like that's all we knew about Ratcatcher. I didn't even know much about him either. Like I didn't even know about that about who he was or what happened there, because I also did not read much of the comics. Although I have a few comic book dubs of Arkham on my channel, which you can go check out later. But yeah, that one's weird because like he says that he gets taken by the Penguin, and then almost seems like he got fed to Penguin Shark, which we were trying, not to get eaten by earlier in the game of Arkham City, and then eventually he just gets killed by Arkham Knight anyway by Jason. That's just unfortunate for the Ratcatcher, I suppose. All right, what's next one? Joker commits infanticide. Oh, that's not good. Very, very bad.
This next one captures one of Joker's more cruel and irredeemable acts. After taking down Deacon Blackfire while Batman is still hallucinating about the Joker, you'll hear Joker make this comment.
You think this Blackfire's a real beast, Batsy? It's just, I owe Gotham Church an apology for that incident with the hydrochloric holy water. Oh, that was one hell of a baptism.
Now, this has a lot more implications than you would think at first. Joker mentions holy water. If the Gotham Church has holy water, then it can be assumed that it's a Catholic church, meaning that the Joker didn't kill a bunch of adults. He killed infants, committing infanticide. It's one thing for Joker to kill a bunch of people, but to do it in a place where people sought out for peace and guidance, and not only that, kill children, is just insane to me. This is a perfect example of how subtle the really dark events occurring in this universe presents itself. It would be too much to show this in the game, but telling us in a very subtle way is not only smart, but perhaps even more disturbing, as your mind races on what exactly happened. It makes you ask questions like, how many kids did the Joker kill? Truly disturbing.
Yeah, that one's wow.
Jason Todd's story in Arkham Knight may be the most horrifying and cruel one he's ever had. Most versions have him dying in one day after the Joker catches him, but here, he's tortured in every way imaginable for over a year in the asylum. In the game, we see small glimpses of what he went through, being branded by Joker and beaten with a crowbar. However, the tie-in comic books reveal and go into detail of what he went through. Now, let me reiterate by saying the comics being canon or not is all in speculation, but it's hard not to believe that some of these events here for sure happened in the games as well. In the comics, Joker handed him over to Harley, who tortured him in the worst ways imaginable, making him believe that Batman gave him the J brand and not Joker. They also made Jason go through hallucinations that made him kill the villain Catman, who was dressed as Batman. She also had a bunch of villains go in and beat Jason in near death, while also making him psychologically tortured throughout it all, making him believe Batman forgot about him. There was also implications that he was sexually assaulted as well. The comics details make it painfully cruel to see, especially when you realize that Jason isn't even an adult. He's still basically a kid. One of the worst fates for Jason Todd, and it's surprising he survived it all.
Yeah, that one, there's so many different versions of how that one, how Jason Todd becomes Red Hood in it, but the way they did it, I guess the way they explained more is that like they brought up, besides just learning more about it in Arkham Knight, I guess, and part of the comics that talk about it, because I mean I've seen like the animated movie about it too, or Under the Red Hood or whatever, which is a great movie by the way. But just like knowing how Jason Todd is still technically a teenager around that time of being Robin, and then going through all that and still, surviving, that's crazy, dude. Like the mental capacity to be able to like have all that trauma and still serve, like, not go fully, like, Joker Psycho is crazy to think about how Jason Todd really, you know, really just, I don't even know what to say. Like that one's so like the last two are really screwed up. Like the Joker Infinite one and then the Jason Todd one. Like those two, like I don't know, man. Like that's messed up in a lot of ways. I'll tell you. Oh, here's the Professor Pig horrifying origin. Oh, I remember that one. The in the Arkham Knight where he mutilates those bodies and then has opera music around there. And he has to find them and track them down from that. That mission was so annoying sometimes. Okay. Let's hear about the origin of him.
Professor Pig is one of the most deranged characters from Arkham Knight. Outside of his side mission, there are audio tapes to give more insight to his character. The tapes reveal he has a son named Jonas, and the final tape has Professor Pig telling his son about his mother. Essentially, the tape reveals that he found a woman whose name he didn't even know and seemingly took advantage of her, as that is what's heavily implied from the tape. She was then pregnant with his son, and Pig's mother wanted to kill her when she was pregnant because she wasn't perfect, but Pig managed to stop it and told his mother he would try to make the woman perfect, mentioning how the months leading to his birth he would try to sculpt her face into something perfect, which pretty much means she was tortured and kept against her will by him. Once he was born, Pig mentions how he couldn't look upon her spoiled canvas of a face, so he finally murdered her. Extremely dark backstory, the poor woman being essentially kidnapped, taken advantage of, and while pregnant, being tortured physically with someone cutting up her face until her pregnancy, which is many months, and then finally being killed. Very disturbing to think about, and it makes you think where his son is now. It's also interesting because these tapes reveal how his mother basically snapped him into becoming insane and becoming Professor Pig. Had he been raised by someone that wasn't evil, who knows if he could have been a better person? We may never know. This one bothers me the most because of how realistic of a situation it is, right? For a Batman villain, this character is a lot more closer to reality than some people think.
Yeah, when he is. I just knocked out one of the cords in my microphone. But yeah, no, when he explains that how closely realistic that situation is with the pig, that one's that's disturbingly close to being something that could actually happen in real life, unfortunately. With some people actually having that messed up backstories from like family tie-ins or something, like that's crazy. But like what he did to his, I guess I didn't even know about this either. Like I said, I didn't read much of those tapes either when I played the game myself. But I guess now hearing about that backstory of him, that's really screwed up. I mean, I'm at a stun for loss of words because all these details are really screwing me over a little bit. Like they're really like they've gotten worse and worse and worse throughout the video. Which, I mean, he picked out really good details, but I mean, like the fact there's even more details kind of makes this entire Arkham trilogy or Arkham games really kind of like, when you want to next time you replay them, you're keeping these things in mind, so that makes how much more messed up the entire like universe really is when you think about it. The doll.
This final fact is still on the subject of Professor Pig, as I believe he is without a doubt one of the darkest spots in the Arkham universe. In his side mission, you see that he kidnaps a lot of people and turns them into Dollatrons, which are essentially mindless drones that do whatever Pig tells them to do. However, one small detail in the game makes their fates way more disturbing, making it a fate truly worse than death. While fighting them, if you scan them using your detective mode, you can see that they're either nervous or terrified. Which means that the victims here can still feel and understand everything that's happening with them, but are unable to do anything. Imagine the feeling of unbearable pain as Pig performs his procedures on you, and to then being used as a toy for the rest of your life. On top of all this, it's said that Pig removes genitalia as well to keep all his Dollatrons one and the same, adding that much more disgust. It's one thing if the victims can't understand or feel the pain they go through, but these victims are. They feel terrified, they feel nervous, and it's likely that they'll never be able to recover from their forms ever again. Those are the 10 disturbing details I have from the Arkham games. If this is a video you liked, let me know so I can do more like it. Have a great day. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
Yeah, dude, that's insane to think about, like, that, like, those people who became his, like, torture, like, doll, like, mind-controlling doll things, like, that's insane that they could still feel, like, f you know, like, fear and being nervous and fear. Like, that's insane that they still have that, like, emotion after all the stuff that pig has put them through and then eventually fighting Batman. Like, that's, oh my gosh, that's insane. I couldn't imagine going through anything like that. And like anything that was talked through this video so far, like I couldn't imagine anything worse so far. But I guess we'll find out next time if we react to another version, which, speaking of, since this video is done, that means you know, we got to talk about, or I guess we got to learn, and we talked a little bit about all of what we've learned so far, and I think a lot of them have gone from the first one to just this last one, like they've gone really more worse, which is not a good thing. I would say it's very interesting, but also very creepy in a sense of a way. Like when you don't notice some of these stuff right away when you're playing the games either. That's even more crazy to think about. But anyway, guys, if you guys want me to react to more of these kinds of videos, specifically these disturbing details um, in the Batman Arkham games, just like and comment, especially on his video too. Go and like and comment on his videos. Like I said, will be linked in the description. But if you guys want to see more, just like and comment in the description, and then I will in the comment section, and then in the description I will have everything linked out, and you guys can watch your ones for yourself. But yeah, no, if you guys want to see more, let me know, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.